Often as filmmakers, we neglect practicing and instead just go from project to project, hoping to improve. But if you're anything like me and you want to become the best cinematographer you can be and fine-tune your skills, the best way to do so is to copy. And by copying, I mean finding frames from your favorite films and recreating them. This will force you to analyze and think like a professional filmmaker, and also understand the key ingredients that help create an amazing shot. And since the incredible film Dune 2 recently came out, I thought it would be a cool concept if we practiced together and I took you through the process of recreating some of my favorite shots from Dune 2, so we can both learn from Denis Villeneuve's incredible work. And keep in mind, I'm not in a desert, so I'm not going to be able to recreate these crazy wide scenes from the film, but we'll be focusing more on close-up and medium shots of subjects and really focusing on lighting and composition. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first shot we got here is of our boy Paul Muad'Dib Atreides having the harsh sunset hitting off the side of his face. So first step is finding out how we're going to recreate that sunlight. So to do this, I brought in a pretty bright light and I decided that I was going to reflect it off my wall to make that look like the sky. And because this light only outputs at one color, which is essentially pure white, I had to put some kind of tint over it. So to do that, I actually grabbed a binder separator which was colored the same orange tint, and I just simply taped it over my light. Now with that all done, I turned the light on, I shined it off the wall, and just like that, we've got a beautiful Arrakis sunset. So what I just realized after looking at the shot is there's actually two light sources coming from behind Paul Atreides. So to replicate that, what I've done is, as well as shining my main light on the back wall creating that orange hue, I also have this pocket light here shining up against the wall that I've literally propped up using tape. So over here, I literally put a black shirt over a painting, and what that does is it replicates the building that's over Paul Atreides' head. You'll see by using the power of depth of field, I'll be able to blend it in a lot more and make it look more realistic. Now in terms of camera, of course, we're shooting on the beautiful Lumix S5II, and I've put a 50mm lens on it. Now if you look at the frame here, we can clearly see that there is a second light source that's shining on Paul Atreides' face. So to replicate that, I've got a second mini light that's a little bit more powerful that can produce an orange hue that I'm literally just holding up to my face to be able to control that light and make sure that it's only just touching the side of my face. So overall, I think the results turned out pretty well, and it does emulate the same feeling that the actual Dune 2 shot did. However, of course, it's far from perfect. But that's not what we're going for, because the reason we do this exercise is simply to learn from the great cinematographers and directors and better understand their process for creating shots. So with all that done, let's get into the next shot. Alright, so this is shot number 2, and we got the Duke of Arrakis here, another close-up shot. And basically, in this one, a really difficult part is going to be the costume design, because as you can see, I don't know what the hell kind of helmet that is, but we'll do our best to recreate it. In terms of technical parts of the shot, as you can see here, the light source appears to be coming from in front and overhead of him, and I can tell that because there are shadows under his eyes, and the lighting is relatively even across his whole face, which makes me think that it's coming from essentially right in front of him. Now, another interesting part about this shot is that, as you can see in his eyes, there's a little reflection of the desert, it looks like. So I'm going to do my best to recreate that as well. Alright, so you may be wondering, how are we actually going to do this costume design? Step 1 is grab a ski mask. Number 2 is grab the snowboard helmet. And finally, we're going to add 2 dishcloths. And that comes together to create this absolute masterpiece. I mean, it couldn't get any more accurate. Alright, so this setup was pretty simple. Basically here we have my camera once again with the 50mm lens on because it's that detailed shot, so I want it to be a little bit more tightly focused on the subject. And then secondly, I had the brilliant idea of putting my television in front of myself to create that reflection that is in Paul Atreides' eyes. It did nothing. Alright, so then like I said, in terms of where the light source is coming from, it's going to be a little bit over my head and pretty much head on with me to create that even distribution of light. And I'm just using this light because we don't need a huge light source coming in, and it's super easy just to attach wherever I want. Also, we are recreating the harsh sunlight, and for that reason, I've not diffused my light source at all. Alright, so after a decent bit of post-production work on this frame, this is the result. Once again, not bad. There are certainly a few quirks here and there, but overall, I think the frame is composed pretty similarly and looks about the same, and ultimately gives off about the same emotion. Alright, so our final shot here is this iconic moment of Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen walking down this big open passageway. So in this shot, as you can see, there's one main light that's hitting the side of his right face. Once again, this is a pretty harsh light, and it looks like it's coming from behind him and a bit to his side. And I can tell that just because the shadows are the darkest right in the center of his face, and the highlights are the brightest at the back of his jaw. And then we have a second light source coming in from his left side, which is also quite a harsh light and also noticeably has a cooler Kelvin, meaning it's more blue. Alright, so let's get into the technical aspects of this shot. So first of all, surprise surprise, we're back on the 50mm lens, of course, because it's another detailed shot, except this time what I've done is added a lens hood, and on top of that, I've also put 2 layers of duct tape over the lens hood. And basically that's blocking the light that's coming from our key light from hitting the glass of the lens, because if it does, it's going to wash out the shot. And I've got my key light right behind me here with no diffusion because, like I said, it's a harsh light. And then next to that, I've got my mini light that I've hooked up to the curtain, which is on paparazzi mode right now, which makes it occasionally flicker, which recreates the occasional flashing on the side of Feyd-Rautha's face. So as you can see, this is what the frame looks like with the harsh light on my one side and the flickering on the other. Alright, so this is the final result. Now, I'm not gonna lie, post-production really helped this one out a lot. As you can see, this is what it looks like before the color grade, and this is what it looked like after. And once again, there are a few things that could be corrected here, and I do believe that this shot also emulates the aggressive emotion that the real Dune 2 shot created. Another subtle detail I picked up on this shot is that there is no catch light. Basically, a catch light is the little light that shines into the subject's eye that will give the subject life. However, in this shot, because Feyd-Rautha is the evil character, Denis Villeneuve wanted him to be perceived as lifeless, and that's why there's very minimal light in Feyd-Rautha's eye. So although the shots we recreated were not perfect, I've got to say, after trying this exercise, my confidence as a filmmaker has definitely increased. It's not about being able to perfectly recreate these shots that these incredible filmmakers have made, but what's really great about it is it makes you think about all the different aspects that go into one beautiful frame. So after trying this myself, I highly recommend that you give it a shot, find some amazing shots from your favorite film, and do your best to recreate it. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect, but as long as you're trying your best to analyze the frame and notice the different aspects of lighting, for example, I am sure that you will improve as a filmmaker. So I hope this served as a healthy reminder of the importance of practicing in our field, and I wish you the best of luck on your filmmaking journey.